You're such an asshole.
Hello everyone, we have a request from Oz. Hello everybody in Australia. I don't know what happened, but we're booming in Australia. I like the fact. So yeah, keep telling your friends down under. The old Yank or Septic, as you guys like to call us. You Americans don't want to look that up. Spread the good word about the caring Yank up north. All right, anyway. Hi, asshole. I want to know your thoughts on a subject that I don't hear talked about often on your channel, shipping container homes. Being the minimalist yourself, I have found confinement in the principles that you preach. Minimalism, living within your means, and not going into debt. Living a minimalist lifestyle is the only way to survive in these economically trying times, from incompetent bureaucrats raising the cost of living and housing to stagnating economic growth, stagnant wages, high taxes, and higher regulations. Which leads me to the topic at hand. Do you think that shipping container housing is a legitimate free market solution to high standards of living? Housing bubbles caused by excessive regulations. Forget excessive regulations. Housing bubbles are caused by a lack of regulations. It's like, just lend to anybody. We don't need to prove their income. You're not lending to enough minorities. You're redlining. You're redlining districts. You have to lend to everybody. Hell, it's the zero down FHA loans, which you guys don't have in Australia. And here in the United States, it's a little bit different. But you guys do have a nice little housing bubble down there in Melbourne. And immigration, or do you think it's just another yuppie hipster trend that is going to vanish as quick as it started? Living a minimalist lifestyle is my goal as soon as I move out of my parents' home. And I see your channel as a source of inspiration, guidance, and advice for doing so, as well as your book, Bachelor Pad Economics, which I have brought. Or do you mean bought? Make it a video, name your price. Okay. Well, to answer, is it just another yuppie hipster trend? Yeah, I think it's going to be a trend. And the reasons why is why you probably don't want to get a shipping container home. If you have it, see, then you got to get rid of it. That's the problem. Is they're dirt cheap because China's exporting all this shit across the world, and us Western nations are buying it up, but we don't ship as much back, so we have a surplus of containers. Some of them are scrapped and melted down. Others just sit there because they're not worth shipping back empty. So you can pick them up pretty cheap, at least here in the States. You can pick them up for under $1,000. I don't know what it is in Australia, but then it's like, oh, hey, I can see where you'd be tempted because it's a stable structure. It's there, it's cheap, it can be delivered. The real issue, though, is how do you turn it habitable? And that's where most of the problems in my research and thinking through has gotten me. First, it's steel. You got to cut through that shit. It's not wood. You know, I've framed houses before. I've done sheetrock. You got to learn to be a welder. You got to rivet. Steel doesn't fuck around. It's like, you know, pretty much the toughest common building material out there. So what I've done and what I found in my research is people like, oh yeah, we'd like to have done that. It would have been really easy, but we had to go and get a plasma cutter. Oh, we couldn't use a plasma cutter because the engineers and the regulators said that would change the structural integrity of the home. And so we actually had to use a saw, a steel saw. And then it just becomes a fucking nightmare to work with. So you could get the container, but what inevitably happens because it's not made to be a building material is your engineering costs and your building costs and your furnishing and plumbing and electrical costs basically drive it up well beyond whatever savings you might. Oh, hey, I got it for $800. Well, good. It's still going to cost you at least 30 to 40 grand wrestling with that steel to get to do what you want. And I know you've seen the pictures, but the container homes you all see are made by really, really rich people because it's a cute little thing they did. Or they themselves were metal workers and they can do that on the cheap. But it's, for whatever savings you might get in the container, excuse me, will be eaten up very quickly in the construction costs because of the material you're working with. Then there were some other things that I did a little bit of research on. The most notable, lighting. I was like, oh, yeah, I didn't think about that. Neither do I think anybody who's building these shipping container homes. If it gets hit by lightning and you don't have lightning rods and a electrical diversion system to ground lightning strikes, you'll die. you guys will be fried. Your family will be set ablaze. You will be all knocked out. So that's kind of, you know, don't put a piece of metal up on top of a mountain. You know, there was one I saw in Colorado. It's up on top of this like mountainous area. I'm like, isn't that nice? And I thought lightning hits mountains a lot. And so that's a thing. Kind of closely related would be no cell phone reception inside. So that's kind of a pain in the ass. And then what else? Just the regulatory legal things that you got to deal with. Your permitting costs, at least here in the United States, are a lot different. An engineer has to come out and inspect the thing because this is not standard. You just can't have an inspector from the city or the county come over. And then the resale value. I know you may think it's cool. I know we're just being so environmental. Oh my goodness, we're hipsters. Yeah, whatever hipsters do now is going to be laughed at in 10 to 15 years. I mean, look at the hippies back in the 70s, and everyone looked at their clothes like, wow, you guys were fucking losers. And even when the hipsters were doing their man buns and their big beards and their salmon-colored jeans, everybody at that moment in time was laughing at their fucking Brooklyn asses. That's what they were so clueless. So there's no resale value for hipster shit. So whatever romanticism may come with it, it's like, no, I don't. Although, now here's something to consider. If it is lightning rod and protected against lightning, and you don't mind having to make cell phone calls outside, it could be, they say the resale value isn't that good. Well, that's not good for someone who owns a trailer or a shipping container house. But if you want a shipping container house and you don't mind living in one and it did a great job with it, 10 to 15 years from now, you know, like when the hipsters keep breeding and they realize that they don't have enough money and they got to move to a larger house or move back in with mom and dad, I have a feeling a lot of these very nice shipping container homes will be put on the market for a heavy discount. So if there's one already pre-made for you, and you know, the dad loses his job playing guitar at the coffee shop, and they have another kid and they got to move out because they didn't think, you know, oh, I didn't take my birth control, that kind of bullshit. I think you could pick them up for a song. It'd be kind of a cool little cabin thing. Or if you're a minimalist and it's in the right place, and once again, it is insulated against lightning, you might be able to pick up one that's already made, pick that up. But I would really lowball it because you're going to face the same problem then, like you're going to have to sell it. And not a lot of people are going to want to live in a shipping container. So that's maybe the only thing I could say. Now, what would make good permanent housing for a minimalist? Now, all depends on your career, where you are in life, what you want to achieve. But if you happen to be in the metro area, and that's where your career is, and you think you're going to be at a place for a while, I find nothing wrong, except in Melbourne, because your housing prices are bullshit. This doesn't apply necessarily to pretty much any city, and so not Australia, but in the rest of the world. If you could find a condo that is dirt cheap, that you could pay cash for, that you could rent to another buddy or something like that, people you trust, you could rent it out, that may be an option. And the reason I say rent it out is because you don't want to like anchor yourself to this one place and say, oh, I have to stay in this city. You want to go to wherever the money pays the most. So it's a maybe getting a condo if you're really set on like if you got a couple $100,000. There's a lot of guys out there. They lived at home. They worked the mining fields or Rio Tinto. What else? The guys up here worked in the Bakken oil field. A lot of guys work, you know, instead of rushing off to school and going in it, they have a fair amount of money, and it's not the worst thing to buy yourself a place to ensure that for the rest of your life you don't have to worry about lodging. Now you may have to worry about taxes, property taxes, which is again kind of hard to invest in a downtown area, not necessarily downtown, but a metropolitan area, and not have liberals and communists and socialists vote up your property taxes, making your property a liability and not an asset. But it's something to consider. So like if the right opportunity, a really small house, a condo, something small that you can rent out if you're not there, have some buddies move in with you, whatever. That might be an option. But going more long-term and minimalist, what I'm doing, inevitably I will be moving out to South Dakota. And what I'm going to be looking into are the fabricated metal, steel fabricated buildings. All right. And so and this falls into a whole bunch of different subcategories. One would be a trailer, the mobile trailer, or an RV. That's the dirt cheapest. You can find yourself, we have things called, they're called Airstreams, they're called the Silver Twinkies, and you can just, it's a mobile home. You just drive around the country, hoo dang ma, go get the young and hoo dang dinkly dinkly. And they got toilets, but there's some logistical issues in there where it's like, okay, you got to get the toilet pumped out. Ideally, you'd have like a gym membership where you can rinse and shower and clean up and bathe. Some of these RVs are a little bit nicer, but they have showers in them, but you got to get a water supply. So these RVs provide they're dirt cheap. You can buy them cheap because they're really depreciating assets. You're not going to resell it in anything. It's a glorified tent is really what it is. But that's kind of the dirtiest, cheapest way to go, and you're going to be somewhat inconvenienced. A step up would be trailers. Now, I don't know what it's like down in Australia, but in the United States, or more single wide and double wide. I know it's trailer, like you think it's being trailed and pulled, but it also means we have trailer park homes, and they can be trailed out. They technically are mobile, but what it really should be called is a prefabricated dwelling. And we have single wide and double wide. Single wide is what you see in the television movies and things, and it's always what tornadoes hit, and where all of our poor fat white people and trailer trash welfare moms live. That's what you hear in the trailer park. And if you want to see a city made purely of trailer parks, look at Evansville, Wyoming. It's a suburb of Casper. I had the honor of going through it daily. But it doesn't always have to be associated with white trash and filth. They're cheap. You get a foundation. The specs might be a little bit different down in Australia or other countries, but they're geared for electricity, shower. They have everything a single man needs. Everything. So they're kind of the cheapest and most convenient. I would pick that over an RV, just because an RV you're not going to have shower, but then you're going to be on the grid. Okay. Now you could subsidize that with solar and wind power. But water is a real hard. You got to have a well. So I know you guys got a lot of water rights issues out there in Australia. But you kind of you do want to have. That's the one thing you want to be on the grid with is water, because it's just you want to have water. You don't want to be fucking driving down to the wayside or the gym every day. Then what I'm probably going to go do are these steel prefab or fabricated homes. And what they are, they're like Quonset huts or pole barns or these actual just prefab houses, and they're made out of steel. The technology, construction technology has come along that they kind of look nice. I'm not really caring about it being nice. All I care about is it's cheap, it's insulated, and I have utilities. And so you could get, and these are like around, your single wide trailers are going to be $30,000. A double wide trailer just, they trailer out two pieces of house side by side and they smash them together and they hook them up. So you get sort of a house. But then this would be the slight upgrade next to it. A company has all these prefabricated cutout parts and they assemble it like a Lego castle. And then you could choose from this, you could choose from that, you can get dimensions. And it's not fancy. It's not pretty. You can tell it's a fabricated home. It's nothing. But again, I don't care about pretty. I want insulated running water, gas and electric, and I want my wood burning stove put in there. And the other thing I personally want to do is, I saw this one guy out in South Dakota, he gave me the idea. Just a rectangle building, that's all it was. And he put a loft or catwalk system around 3/4 of the building. And underneath the catwalk were rooms, sleeping quarters, bathroom, and a kitchen. And then up top, I think was like an no, that was down below. I think it was just like a reading room or something like that. It was just a nice, simple designer's windows. And then in the center, he had a huge wood-burning stove, but in the first quarter was just pavement and concrete with his tools, tools, vehicles, motorcycles, and 2 cars. I'm like, this is all I need. Just very open space. You know, you have privacy. You can close the doors to go to the bed. And that's kind of something that I'm... So there's different designs and layouts, and you can, just look up pole barn. That's what they call it here in the United States. I don't know what the hell you guys call things down in Australia. I thought the Brits had weird vocabulary. You guys blow it off the chart, man. I have no idea. It's like, oh, we got the habitability laps. And I'm like, oh, good. What the fuck is that? It's like, it's a truck. Oh. What do they call them? They do call them something different down there. Not jalopies. What do you guys... You call it something. I'm not even going to bother looking it up. So that's kind of what I would go with. They're not that expensive. You're looking more in like the $70,000, $80,000 range. And plus it gives you the opportunity, the option, just to be out in the country. You don't have to be in the city. You buy a large plot of land out in the middle of frickin' nowhere. Something you can like grow grapes on or get a garden. Me, I'm kind of kicking around leasing out to agriculture and like farmers maybe. Vineyards might actually be another thing. Vineyards. But then you got your land. You got like a little ranch going on. And as long as you're not in some major metropolitan leftist fuck you up the ass city, your property taxes aren't going to go up that much. And then you got yourself a little piece of land and you got a nice little house. Maybe you parcel off the land as you get older. It's just an idea. But then you have this home and it's comfortable. You're not really sacrificing anything. And that, for me personally, even though I'm a minimalist, I'm not like... I knew this one guy, not personally, but we had correspondence. I'm trying to remember his name. He squatted in a house, to save money for like a year to see if he could do it. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to that level. So as a minimalist, you can still live in perfectly first world comfort if you just have like a steel fabricated home, and it's not like, I need granite countertops. Like, I need a shitter. I need a shower. I probably won't even get a bed. I did really well with my futon. I really like my futon. And just a place to store my cars, and then there's a kitchenette, and that's about it. That's really all you need. So that's what I recommend. Then microhomes. Microhomes, I think they're going to be kind of the same thing as a hipster movement. I think they're kind of great for retirees. I really like the philosophy behind them, but when you start making TV shows out of them, I'm kind of like, I wonder. And then we're gonna raise a family, and I'm like, nah, you're not. So if you were like a hermit, it was just you, I could see a microhome maybe, but for the same price, I mean, they put a lot into it, and I know they try and get the cost down. But you got permitting issues, same thing, kind of with a shipping container home. You got those, not licensing, ordinance, what the word am I looking for? Permitting issues that I would kind of eschew that. Whereas these prefabricated homes, you pour your concrete, you put it on top of it, the inspector guy signs off, and you're done. And then you got your place. So that's what I'd be looking for. Another thing that's great about these prefab homes is you could stagger it. You buy the land for cash first. Then you save up more money. Then you buy for cash the prefabricated home. I would say for none of these should you be going into a mortgage for. If you're a minimalist, if you do it right, you should be able to get cheap housing for cash. The land of which is probably, well, not even that. The land wouldn't even be that expensive at times, but oftentimes the land might be your most expensive expenditure. But that's just what the old captain would do. So, all right, hope that helped out. You guys got questions? Go talk to America's older brother or at assholeconsulting.com. We serve foreigners as long as you give me my fucking money. And if you are bored and you want more philosophical insights to life, you can get my book, Bachelor Pad Economics, and Reconnaissance Man, and Curse of the High IQ, and all those other fucking good books. We'll see you kids later. Toodles.